Good day. My name is Sarah Johnston, and this is for my Foundation of Personal Trainings course through NAIT. I'm going to take you through a quick presentation talking about the decreased levels of activity for children and youth. We're going to talk about what obesity is, what causes obesity, the effects it has on youth and children, and how we can prevent it. What is obesity? Most people already know what obesity is, and we have a visual effect of basically somebody being overweight. But how obesity is defined by World Health Organization is a condition in which abnormal or excessive fat or fat cells are stored within areas of the body, causing low energy and weight gain. What's the difference between overweight and obese? Overweight is where a person stores fat within the body, causing them to weigh more than what is expected to be considered for their average age, gender, or sex. Obesity is the excessive storage of fat cells. So overweight has a BMI, a body mass index, of 20 to 29.9, and obesity has a BMI of 30 or greater. Two other types of obesity is severely obese, has a BMI of 35 to 40, and morbidly obese, which is 40 and greater on a BMI scale. So a little activity that I have for you is either you can stop the video now and you can go and do this, or you can do it at the end of the video. And what I'd like for you to do is to post what your BMI is at either the bottom of the YouTube channel or on the assignment page where you can comment. So you're going to go to Google and just put into Google search BMI CDC, which stands for Canadian Disease Control and Prevention. And this will take you to a web page where you can actually calculate your own body mass index by typing in your height and your weight, and it'll tell you approximately an average of what your BMI should be sitting at or where you're sitting at on the scale. Also recommend if you have kids to please also do this with your kids as well, so you can also see where they're sitting at on the scale. Because most of the presentation that we're going to talk about is how obesity affects children. Alright, so some little facts that I have for you. I read this really great article on Huffington Post Canada, and it was statistics done by Statistics Canada. In 2003, they found that 15% of Canadians were obese. In 2015, they found that 20.2% of Canadians are considered obese. Another great article was done by Alberta Health and the University of Alberta. It was done on 4,000 grade 5 students, average 9 to 11 age. It was done in 140 schools across Alberta, and what they found was 29% out of those 4,000 kids were considered overweight, and 8% were considered obese. So another fact is kids who are obese are more likely to be overweight or obese adults. Reason why is when kids are growing, that's when they're producing fat cells. When we're adults, we don't produce fat cells. We just have the ones that we contain from when we were kids. So if an unhealthy child is living an unhealthy lifestyle and producing more fat cells, it makes it more difficult for him or her when they get older to try to maintain a healthy weight because of the excessive fat cells that are created in their body. So what causes obesity? Most of us already know that simple things as not proper nutrition or diet, as well as not proper physical activity, are huge contributors to why obesity is an issue. Looking a little bit more into detail, is family eating habits can absolutely have a huge impact on how kids eat. Typically, how your parents are or how their parents are is how the child acts. So if it's unhealthy eating habits, less activity, watching TV, all of these kind of choices, the kids are more likely to follow into those bad habits. Lower income families unfortunately can't provide the proper health nutritious foods for their kids, or a lack of knowledge of dietary practices is a huge factor. Insufficient physical activity from, especially with technology, with TV and video games and Facebook and all of these types of things. I'm sure you can agree that when you were kids, as well as myself, is we didn't have as much technology, so we spent probably a good, 80 to 90% of our time outside playing. Whereas nowadays you don't really see that as much, but it's trying to be encouraged and pushed. Other contributors could be genetic or psychological as well. So some of the effects that obesity can have on children and youth can be extremely devastating and severe. Some of the physical effects it can have is be obviously physically limiting for that child to do many activities. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes. I found this really great fact that adult onset diabetes is more commonly found now by age 9 than what it used to be. And that's adult onset diabetes, type 2. Other types of condition is cardiovascular issues, ADHD, allergies, headaches, and in some severe cases, it can even cause cancer. Some emotional effects, which can be absolutely devastating on kids, is stress, depression, anxiety, lack of confidence, typically due to ostracization and from being bullied. So what are things that can prevent kids from going through these very traumatic effects? Government of Canada recommends that children between the age of 5 and 17 get no less than 60 minutes a day of physical activity, and only 9% of Canadians are actually meeting this requirement. So things that we can do to promote physical activity is walking, biking, running, sports, physical activities, less TV and more activity. The biggest, hugest things that we can do as adults, whether you have kids, nieces, nephews, friends who have kids, is educate and set an example. The way that you live your life and the choices that you're making are the choices that kids are going to later follow behind you. And also making sure that we're showing and providing proper nutrition and healthy foods as well. So I really hope that you guys got something out of this video and you're able to pass it along to, whether it's your life or your kids or somebody else or whatever it might be. But it's really crucial as us for personal trainers to understand how important physical activity is for the well-being of children. We know that it improves cardiovascular fitness, strength, bone density, flexibility, injury prevention, and overall mental health and physical well-being. So we went through what obesity is. We talked about how child obesity tends to lead to adult obesity and how emotional and physical devastating it can be on a child, not even just a child, but even adults as well. And some of the causes, whether it's environmental or biological factors, and physical activity is essential to a healthy childhood development. So please pass this information on. I really look forward to hearing from some of your guys' comments and also hearing what your guys' BMIs are. Another question that I would like to add to that is if you guys have any questions on the presentation and how it went, and also if you've ever struggled, if you've ever have any stories of you struggling with any overweight or obesity or any stories that you'd like to share, I'd also really like to hear about that and also get to know my classmates a little bit better. So thank you guys very much for watching. I appreciate it and hope you have a great day. Thank you.